As part of Siena Research Institute's continuing effort to understand the fabric of life in New York, we're talking today about leisure time, the time that New Yorkers spend where they're not working for pay at their job and they're not engaged in household responsibilities. Do New Yorkers have more or less leisure time than they have in the past? Well, right now, leisure time appears to be shrinking. 38% of all New Yorkers, 31% of men, and 45% of women report that they have 2 hours or less leisure time on an average day during the week. The old saying, working for the weekend, certainly continues to apply. We have a lot more leisure time on the weekends. 54% of us say that we have 4 or more hours per day on the weekends that we get to enjoy the activities that we choose rather than those tasks and jobs that we have to perform. Still, we see a difference between men and women. 62% of men, so nearly 2/3 of men, say that on the weekends they have 4 or more hours to do what they want to do what they enjoy. Only 46% of women say that they have that 4 or more hours. Now, compared to last year, do we have more leisure time or less leisure time than last year? Well, unfortunately, it looks like leisure time is indeed shrinking. 31% of us report that we have less leisure time today than we did a year ago. The group hardest hit there in terms of losing leisure time are the youngest New Yorkers. Those that are 18 years of age to 34 years of age seem to be working. 47% of them have less leisure time today than they did a year ago. Now, when we try to compare the activities that people perform, that people are engaged in their leisure time, we see that many activities are practiced equally by men and women. Where we see a difference, where women practice an activity more than men, are things like shopping, engaged in prayer, talking on the phone with their friends, or playing cards. Those activities that men prefer far more than women include video games, sports, going to sporting events, and spending time in restaurants, or just plain sitting and doing nothing. A group that is particularly hard hit during the week, those 5 days when we're out there at our jobs, those people who have the least amount of leisure time during the week are married New Yorkers, New Yorkers that have children in their household, and those New Yorkers who indeed are employed for pay. Now, which activities do New Yorkers like to enjoy most during their leisure time? New Yorkers seem to say that the activities that they do the most of tend to be relatively sedentary, relatively passive. The activities that New Yorkers perform the most are listening to music, watching TV, talking on the phone with friends and relatives, surfing the internet, simply sitting and relaxing, reading for pleasure, and finally, the 7th most practiced activity are physical activities, things like going to the gym, engaging in sports, or simply taking a walk. So physical activities finish 7th. Now, we asked New Yorkers, when we wanted to talk to them about leisure activities, what activities would you like to do more of? What would you like to do less of? What do you feel good about? And what is it that you don't feel good about? Well, leisure time is shrinking, so New Yorkers have to be very, very judicious in choosing how they're going to spend their time. The one group of activities that New Yorkers far and away say they would like to do more of is physical activities. New Yorkers want to get outside. The weather is beautiful right now today, finally. New Yorkers want to get outside and be more physical. They want to play golf. They want to play sports. They want to walk. They want to be outside enjoying physical activities. 60%. 50% of New Yorkers say, I want to have more time with my friends. Another group, 50% again of New Yorkers, say, I want to do more outdoor activities like gardening, boating, hiking. A surprising 63% of New Yorkers say, I'd like to spend more time going to places like museums or cultural events as well. What would New Yorkers like to do less? What perhaps are we not all that happy with that we're doing quite a bit of? Well, it might not come as a surprise, but 22% of New Yorkers, almost 1 in 4, say, I wish I watched less television. Almost an equal amount, 23%, say, I wish I could turn that computer off and get off the internet. And 11% of New Yorkers say, I wish I'd get away from those video games. So those activities where people are passively looking at a screen, those are the ones that New Yorkers say, I wish I was spending less of my precious leisure time doing those things. When we talk to people about leisure activities, we ask them, so what does leisure say about you? Why is it that you care about, that you want to be engaged in leisure, in fun activities as much as you do? Well, 80% of New Yorkers said that through leisure activities, they strengthen relationships with friends, family members, people they care about. Leisure is a way that New Yorkers say they build relationships. Secondly, about 3 out of every 4 New Yorkers say, leisure, that says a lot about who I am. I get to express who I really am. I get to be who I really am. After all, it's my time, and through leisure, I get to express who I really am. That's part of the reason why New Yorkers wish they had more leisure time, wish they could be out there enjoying that time a lot more. We also ask New Yorkers, what is it that keeps you from enjoying that time more? What are the obstacles? What are the roadblocks to getting out there and enjoying your leisure time more? Well, 75% of New Yorkers said, you know, sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything. Might be part of the reason why we're seeing such a spike in a lot of the extremely passive leisure activities. 70% of New Yorkers said that some leisure activities simply cost too much. I can't afford them in these tough economic times. 56% of New Yorkers, so more than half, said, you know what, some of the time I'm simply just too tired. I don't have enough motivation to get up and do anything. And finally, and this is the one that perhaps comes to mind most readily, 68% of New Yorkers, better than 2 out of every 3, said, I have just too much to do. I have too many chores around the house, too many responsibilities. I just don't have any free time to go out there and enjoy my leisure time. Particularly hard hit in terms of household responsibilities. 77% of New Yorkers that are married say that it's those household jobs that are holding me back. 86% of New Yorkers with young children at home say, I've got too much to do. There's simply no time left for me.